Hello everyone. Welcome to the episode second of Rebound with Resilience. The title of our session today is Miracle Question. In our series, we will now continue on learning how can we rebound with resilience to the various challenges we face at workspace. And we are doing this through the story of Michelle. In our previous episode, you've seen Michelle and her struggle due to her lack of self compassion. Continuing on with our work on cultivating self compassion for Michelle, which is one of the core areas of building our resiliency skills, in our session today, you will learn along with me and Michelle through a technique which goes by the name of the miracle question how I had assisted Michelle, who was quite confused and irritated with the state of being that she was in her workspace, to a space of clarity and direction. This technique is called the miracle question. What I want you to do here is pause this video, grab a pen and a paper, and make a note of the question that I'm about to ask you. I did this with Michelle after the first exercise, which was writing a letter to the best friend. This was the second in line where my intention was coaching Michelle on cultivating self compassion as one of the core fundamental area of building her resiliency skills. So, this miracle question I asked Michelle that suppose, Michelle, just imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and by some miracle you find yourself that your self critique has just vanished, has disappeared, never to return. You no longer talk to yourself in this negative, self critical way, and your relationship with yourself has miraculously changed for the better. You are now genuinely kind towards yourself like a good friend, and you love yourself unconditionally. With this miracle happening, imagining yourself, tell me, how will your life be different from what it is now? Friends, I want you to also pause this video here and think if this miracle also occurs in your life, where your self critique has just disappeared and you are living the best of your life with a very close bond you share with yourself. Your relationship with yourself has changed for better. You're quite kind towards yourself, like a good friend. What will change? Think over it and just pen it down, whatever comes to your mind. This is the question. You can just make a note of it. And as you are answering this question the way Michelle was doing, I would also want you to pay attention to what would be those signs that you're treating yourself differently. Now, one thing I also would like to mention here is while I'm asking you to do this with Michelle, I've actually had given her this as an assignment with a gap of almost 2 weeks in between because I want her to not just imagine this miracle that has happened, but also to keep in mind that she's living this miracle. It's really is in, uh, I mean, it has gone live, like how a project goes live. So it has gone live, and from there on, I've asked Michelle to keep on making a note of when you're very kind towards yourself, what are the signs that you would read when you treat yourself differently with more compassion, with more kindness, exactly the way you would treat a good friend or your best friend or someone who's going through a tough time. And this comes with practice because this is not just a one time answer to a question, rather, a practice where the way I've asked Michelle, I'm asking you as well. Go ahead and come back to this video maybe after a week because for a week, practice Imagine this miracle that your self critique is no longer there, it has disappeared, and you are now having the best of relationship with yourself. How would it be to treat yourself in the most kind way? And what will be the signs that you will find the way you were before to the way you are now when you treat yourself gently and with lot of kindness? What signs do you see when you treat yourself differently? As you observe with an intention and give yourself a week's time. In case of Michelle, I have given her 2 weeks, but for you, I'm saying a week's time. You will find some changes. For some people, it could be a lot. For some, it could be little. Each one of us are different, and I respect that. So, regardless, but there will be a change. And I want you to pay attention to that. The signs that you're treating yourself differently and make a note of it. This is, in a way, you are building your resiliency muscle. You can thank me later for that, but before I leave, I also would like to add to what I just said to the practice that I'm asking you to do, the neuroscience behind kindness. There are, in fact, a lot of data and research work going on this very concept of kindness. And something I brought to you from Mayo Clinic, one of the leading uh, health organizations, from their research work. I just pulled this extract out and what you're seeing on your screen right now here. When we extend kindness, and there has been a lot of research that has been done in the recent years, and it has been found and also been observed and experienced through the many brain scans that when we extend kindness to others and also to ourselves, we have these feel good chemicals that are released in our brains, something we need, like the serotonin and the dopamine. Uh, for those of you who may not really are well versed with the science, it's absolutely fine. All you need to know is serotonin and dopamine, these are chemicals we all need for our mood, for our motivation, and they produce feelings of satisfaction and well being. In fact, an absence of these chemicals is what leads to various mental ailments, including depression, anxiety, panic attacks. So, these neurotransmitters, when they produce these feelings of satisfaction and well being, in addition to that, this endorphins, which is a body's natural painkiller, all of these are just getting released with just a mere practice of kindness. So, in case of Michelle, going back to our example and the case, when she was feeling confused, irritated, angry, and frustrated, as I helped her, she found an answer to, in the very first place, when she was surprised that how is self compassion to do with my issue. And the moment she started treating herself like her best friend, or you know, asking that miracle question or living that miracle where her self critique has disappeared and she's more kind towards herself. The changes she experienced were profound, very, very profound. Not necessarily each one of us would have the same change, but you will find some change. As I mentioned earlier, I gave you a week's time. For her, it was 2 weeks. Practice kindness. It has been proven that the feel good chemicals are at just your neurotransmitters synapse where they are only waiting for you to get into the act of kindness and they are released. We are blessed with an amazing, miraculous brain system. And the more we put this to good use, it is going to promote your well being and mental health in ways that you can't even imagine. So, this is in a nutshell a bit about the neuroscience behind kindness, which is scientifically proven. And the very reason why, when we are a victim or practicing self critique for a longest period of time is the reason why very little we realize. We stay in a state of constant irritation, annoyance, being snappy, confused, and judgmental. And the very act of self compassion is where we can start to remove all that negativity and bless our mind and our physical and mental health with all these feel good chemicals through a mere practice of being kind. It isn't that tough, but you need to practice it. I leave you with this simple tip: be kind, practice kindness to yourself first, and then spread it to others. Thank you, friends, and I'll meet you soon in our next session.